Hello, welcome everyone. You are at How to Become an Influencer in the Age of AI, an event hosted by Social Rising in cooperation with Filmora. And our guest today is Richard Venner. Hey, Richard.
Hi, Matteo. How are you?
I can't complain. I did have an intense but good day.
Thanks for having me here, Matteo. I'm very excited to be talking to you today.
Me too, me too. Everyone is joining. Right now, there are around 40 people here, but we do have 500 plus registered from all around the world. Everyone, put in where you're from. Serbia, nice. Heating, Italy, Argentina, nice. Miami, oh, Miami Beach, San Diego, London. By the way, Social Rising is a community for creators and influencers and those who are working hard to get there and all the other people that are interested in meeting with those people, like agencies, brands, products. We are hosting both in person and virtual events all around the world. The structure of today is I will first ask Richard a couple of questions that I prepared, look a bit into his toolbox on how he's optimizing his workflows, and then we have a bit of an open Q&A as much time as we have. So shall we start, Richard?
Let's start. I wanted to say firstly, thank you to Moni for calling me a nice guy, and I'm really excited, everyone, to read all of your questions and comments in the chat. So as Matteo said, please contribute to the chat, and yeah, it's going to be a really interesting discussion today, I think.
So tell us a bit your story, Richard. How did everything start? Why are you an influencer now? And what drove you to going this path?
Yeah, well, okay, so it's a great question to start with, I think, Matteo. So I've been an English language teacher now for over 20 years, 25 years, in fact, and I had the idea a few years ago to start my own online English school. So I started this challenge and I started a social media account to promote my online school. I started with TikTok. I've got three kids, but I chose my eldest son, so I started with him. I gave him my my mobile phone. We went to the living room and I recorded my first video. And really, things started from that moment onwards. I really enjoyed the whole process of filming, editing, posting, seeing how my video had done, and eventually my online English school idea, it didn't really live up to my expectations, but the social media side really took off, and I've managed to grow my community and my following across, I guess, all of the major social media platforms. And yeah, I really love my continued journey as a content creator.
Nice. There are two aspects in there here again and again. First of all, you had a goal in mind. You wanted to actually increase sales of your academy. The goal didn't work out. That's okay. Like obviously we are in an entrepreneurial setting, so we always have to change on what people react to. But you had a goal in mind. A lot of people actually start their creator's journey and don't really know which direction they're going. And that's the tip that I would give everyone now. Have a goal. It's actually very likely that it doesn't work out the first goal. So, and don't worry about that. And I find it very fascinating. And the second thing is you stuck on it. You saw that it grew and it became their own, your channels became its own product. And I also see this like I hear the stories again and again where people are like, hey, I just started to do this, but then actually the social media, just being a content creator, being a media production company actually became my passion. So Mr. Beast said again and again, 100 videos you have to make until you actually make something people like. What was your experience there?
Yeah, I mean, my experience is very similar. Obviously, I think if you're doing something every single day for a long period of time, you're going to become better at it, more proficient at it, whether it's content creation, whether it's learning a language, whether it's training at the gym. If you're doing something every day, you're going to get better and better and better. And yeah, I found that as a content creator, I'm constantly going through an experimental cycle where I'm experimenting with different content, different formats, different ways of filming. I'll find something that hits, that works, and then I'll exploit that for a little while, and then I'll go back into the experimental phase where I'll try to find a style again that's original, something new, something different, something that resonates with my community. And that, I think, that creativity and the ability to be so creative is probably the thing I love the most about being a content creator. It's fantastic because
Mhm.
you've got a blank canvas and you can do whatever you want with it. And yeah, don't be afraid to fail, I think is the other message, because out of your 100 videos, you might only have one that does reasonably well. You might not have any that do reasonably well. You've just got to love what you're doing, believe in it, and keep going.
Nice. That actually leads me to the next question. What were the moments that made a difference in your growth? You already said that you're experimenting and trying out things until things perform, but what were the actual things specifically in the beginning that you tried and then worked?
Yeah, so I think in my particular niche, in the English language teaching niche online in social media, obviously there are many, many, many creators. When I started, which was over 3 years ago, I experimented at the beginning with loads of different styles of video, and I found a style, a quiz style that worked. It was with sentences at the top of the screen, words at the bottom, like a multiple choice, and the viewer reads the sentence, chooses the word, and finds out from me if they're correct or not. And then at the end of the video, because I'm known as the grammar goat, I give the grammar explanation behind the quiz. So that was probably like that style was the first style that for me really worked. One video did really, really well. So I just jumped on it and for a couple of months, every day, I posted another video in the same style, and some did well, some didn't, but I just kept going and going and going. And then, as I said, I went into another experimental phase where I tried another bunch of videos in lots of other different styles. And again, I found another video that worked. And again, I jumped on that and I exploited that and made loads more videos in that style. So it's a constant cyclical process of experimentation, success, and then re-evaluation. I'm also quite sort of clear with my strategy as well. So I post every single day without fail. It doesn't matter if I have to stay up all night filming. I'll get that video out next day. So I am particularly relentless in my approach. Every single day I post, and I've posted pretty much every day for 3 years across my platforms. So I think as well, you've got to be non-stop, relentless, keep your content flowing as a content creator. So that's my other piece of big advice, I would say.
Yeah. I also like from the people that I've talked to that successfully mastered the build-in audience, consistency is key, passion is key. And those are words that sound so light sometimes, but it's so important. So if you would think back then to the moment where you thought of or created your first videos, what would you tell yourself if you would be meeting yourself again?
Yeah, I think it's probably a motivational question because I think at the beginning of any journey, particularly the journey of a content creator, there are so many ups and downs in terms of engagement and views that it is quite easy to become demotivated. So, when you go through a hard week or a hard month of your engagement falling, your views falling, it's quite easy to become demotivated. So I think I would just reinforce to my past self to keep going, to think positively, to be positive, and keep believing in what you're doing. Because, yeah, as a content creator, there are ups, there are downs. You've just got to ride the good times and also ride the more challenging times as well.
Yeah, very, very, very true. Is your son actually still in front of the camera, or did you take over by now, or
I
do you have a
I
cameraman?
I replaced my son with a tripod a few months, but actually saying that recently I invested in a gimbal. I
Hmm.
really love tech and investing. I invest a lot back into my gear that I buy for my creation. And I recently bought a gimbal and I flew to Korea to do some filming. And I took my eldest son with me and I gave him the gimbal and he was the cameraman once again. So yeah, I love involving my son. I involve my wife as well in my videos. So it's a family thing as well, you know.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw your wife popping up more in recent videos. And one thing I noticed is that you started interviewing people and started talking to them in public. From what I learned from the people I talked to is that this is always kind of an easy thing to create engagement when you are actually interacting with people in public. What was your experience? Would you continuing with that, or is that something that's just normal?
Yeah, so it's again part of that experimental phase where
Mm,
I'm just experimenting with different content types and different formats. It's quite an adjustment actually to hold a microphone and to interview someone. I don't know if there are any creators watching this today, but it takes some adjusting and it's quite a challenge actually to if you're used to just talking to camera all the time, to interview someone and to stay consistent is
yeah.
quite a challenge. So I've enjoyed that. But no, just for my longer form videos, I had the idea of doing a number of sort of street English challenges, which also enables me to do some traveling because I also love the opportunity to travel. So yeah, it's just a new style of a video that I'm experimenting with. Yeah, some street interviews.
Actually, Eva was asking a question. Where are you from? Actually, we didn't mention that in the beginning. Obviously, implicit because you're joining the London event. Are you British? If not, what nationality are you, and in which city were you born? Because you have a very nice accent.
Oh, thanks very much, Eva. So I'm English. I'm from a very nice historic city near London, about an hour from London in the southeast of England, which is called Canterbury. So yes, that's where I'm from.
Alexander was asking a question. I've recently started to write a blog about leadership. I've been thinking about transponding the content from the blog into short video format for social media. I feel everything will be quite storytelling based. How do you suggest to try to find ideas for presenting content?
I think my advice would be to get in front of the camera and, you know, to experiment and see how your natural presenting style is on the camera. What you don't want to do too much is be too fake and move away too much from who you are as a person. So what I would say is get in front of the camera, set your phone up. If you've got a son, give it to your son to film like I did, get some content together, show it to friends, show it to family, and maybe get their feedback. And then just post it out there. You know, if you're willing to put yourself out there into the world, the crazy world of social media sometimes, post it out there and see what happens, see how it does. But obviously be prepared to experiment a lot. And if I look back to the first content that I posted to my content now, I mean, they really are, you know, so different, worlds apart. And I hope that in 3 years' time in the future, the content that I'm posting will also be just as different as the content I'm posting now. What do you think, Matteo? What would your advice be?
In the end, it's about so I think we have to think as social media as being a conversation, first of all. So it's not about you telling the world. I mean, let's say it differently. This is what differentiates us from old classic media, that it can be a conversation. So put your content out there. Yes, you have to find your story. Yes, you have to tell your story, but keep the loop open from the very beginning, from your first comments to receive that feedback, both in numbers and in comments, and work with your audience. That's what I would do. And the topic of leadership is you have a smaller target group there in the world. Not everyone wants to be a leader. So start the conversation with your audience. That's what I would say.
Jerry's had a very interesting question regarding repurposing long form video into short form reels. I mean, we're going to come on to this a bit later, Jerry. Something that I'll talk about later called Smart Short Clips, which is an AI tool offered by Filmora, which does exactly that. And I can tell you more about that with a video clip as well, Jerry, later on in the webinar. So thanks for raising that.
Very, very true. What are actually the tools that you're using these days for, except your son, to create content?
Yeah, so obviously in terms of filming, I've invested in a really good camera with a really good lens, a gimbal, a tripod. I've got a green screen, I've got professional lighting. In terms of editing, which is obviously so key, I use Filmora, and we're going to talk about Filmora later in the webinar. And I wanted in the webinar to highlight some of the most useful AI tools that I use that really do speed up the whole process of editing my videos, both short and long form videos. And what I wish I had had when I first started as a content creator over 3 years ago, because I just didn't have them back then.
That actually leads me to the next question anyways. What changed now with AI? I mean, obviously we will look a bit more detail in some specific examples there shortly, actually, in a few minutes. And by the way, everyone, we see your questions, so thanks for asking them. Please put them in the Q&A section because the chat gets a bit crowded then. And we see them and we will go through all of them. What changed in the last year or two when all those AI tools popped up, when ChatGPT started to basically show us that AI is here?
I think that AI has definitely enabled creators to be so much more productive. So it's automated many workflows that in the past were quite, use the word cumbersome, time consuming to do in terms of editing, writing scripts, writing titles, subtitles. It's just automated everything. I mean, let's be clear, for me, AI is very much the passenger in my journey as a content creator. It's not the driving force. I think the human element still gives that creativity through experience, through innovation. But AI undoubtedly is such a useful passenger to have on board with you. And as I'll show you later on with the clips that we've prepared, it helps you so much, especially in that editing phase. Editing can take hours and hours and hours, and AI just it speeds everything up so that you can be across other things and not spending all of your time on editing.
Honestly, I think we should jump into the video right now and
Sure.
then go through all the questions one by one. So let me pull out the video that we prepared.
I'll be your human play stop, shall I, Matteo? Your remote control. Yeah, so
Okay.
what I've done, everyone, is I've chosen the 7 AI tools made by Filmora that help me the most in my content creation and in my post-production editing. So the first one's called AI Portrait Cutout. Matteo, you could hit play on the first one. So this first incredible feature is AI Portrait. You can use the AI Portrait feature to separate the subject from the background in your clip. It gives you fantastic flexibility because you don't have to use a green screen for your background when you're filming, or if you're planning on adding a totally new background or backdrop to your video. So with AI Portrait, the background doesn't matter because it will simply cut out the video subject in seconds, as you can see. You can even add special effects and replace the background using Filmora's built-in library. So speaking of the library, which we're running through now in the clip, it offers a wide range of amazing assets, basically everything you need for your video projects, from stock media to audio to transitions, effects, filters, and stickers as well, everything you need. So for example, as you can see now, I've added a transition. It's very intuitive. You can pause the video now, Matteo, thank you. It's very intuitive to use. You just simply drag and drop your assets onto your timeline and they're ready to go. So first of all, the AI portrait cutout is so useful, and also the library of stock media, so awesome audio tracks, stylish stickers, eye-catching transitions. They cater for all sorts of niches and creative styles.
Let me quickly jump in there.
Sure.
That looks super amazing. But to put it into context, this is the desktop app right now. So this is the version that you download on a desktop. There's also a mobile version as far as I'm aware, and both have the same feature set.
Correct, yeah, correct. And the mobile And the mobile app is obviously very, very sort of useful when you're on the go. I'll often edit my shorts using the mobile app. The desktop version I usually keep for my long form content, just because my Matteo, my eyesight isn't as good as it used to be getting older. But so no, I use the mobile version usually for shorts, and I use the desktop for my longer form content, but not always.
Eva was asking the question, is Filmora better than video? Would you
Well,
know that? Have you used video?
well, I've used a number of different apps and applications, and Filmora is by far the best one that I've used. In particular, these AI tools that I'm showing you today that I'm not aware sort of video editing apps have. The Filmora apps that I'm showing you today, and there are many others as well. They're so useful and so professional as well.
Generally, if you want to try Filmora, they do have a free trial, so you can easily try them out and compare it with every other software. And I saw that for the next days they still have this 30% off promotion online, so it's actually a no-brainer to try it out right now. Sergio, the question is, Filmora better than this or that? Try it out. You don't have anything to lose with the free trial. We here are using Filmora, so I don't think that we know too much about the other tools. Generally, though, if you know a tool really well, then obviously the better you know a tool, the easier you can use it for your purposes. But try it out.
Yeah, I think as well when I talked about the experimental element of being a content creator, it's great to experiment with new applications and new software. So if you're new to Filmora and you haven't tried it before, take advantage of that free trial for 7 days. Be brave, try it out with your content. Look at these AI tools I'm showing you and how useful they are, and I'm sure I'm sure you'll absolutely love it. The next one, AI background music. Go ahead and hit play, Matteo. So you've created great content, but your content, it needs background music. So you just right click on your footage, you choose BGM generation, the AI analyzes your video and generates the ideal background music for your content. And I'll show you an example now.
The question is, what is good about this video and what can be?
Oh, okay. This is really good, actually.
You can pause the video again, Matteo. So again, BGM generation, another massive time saver for me. It's helped me a lot, particularly with my long form content. In seconds, the AI can generate appropriate, inspiring, and mood-making music for my content.
That's really cool. As someone who started actually making a radio show back in the 90s, honestly, this would have been so helpful in creating all those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And music is so key to
Totally.
many creators, isn't it? In many niches. So this is so useful.
Yeah. Smart short clips. That's what we were referring to in the question earlier, right?
We were. Yeah. Please hit play on smart short clips. So you've got long form content and you want to generate some reels, some shorts, which can stand alone in their own right or can be used to generate interest in the long form video. Filmora will generate 4 cut down versions highlighting the best moments. You can edit the video, so if you don't like a sticker, you can delete it and you can go to the library and replace it with something that you like better. Have a look.
They literally just threw a bunch of leaves and masked it in the shape of the person.
Yeah.
You think that's what happened?
That's my
Because I have
guess.
no idea how he made it.
Okay, pause the video, Matteo. So smart short clips, it will add subtitles, it will add stickers, it will add sound effects, it will even add a video title for you. And remember, you can always go in and change them, as I said. So there's a sound effect that you don't like or a sticker that you want to replace. You can just go into the Filmora assets and you can swap them out. I use smart short clips a lot for my podcast. So I do a podcast every week and I end up with an hour of footage and I want to clip it down into short 0 to 30-second reels to promote the podcast. So I just put it into smart short clips and out come my 4 ready-made reels, my ready-made shorts. So again, it really has automized my workflow and given me back probably 2 or 3 hours of my time that I would have spent editing that hour-long video.
Because you can edit it yourself and you do it yourself because you have your certain style, and with the help of Filmora, it's not a pain to do that, right?
Yeah, as I talked about, the AI being a passenger, as the creator, you're still very much in the driving seat. But with Filmora as your passenger, it really can help give you direction and steer you along the right path. Yeah.
Nicola was asking a related question here. How well does it work with the change of 16 to 9 to 9 to 16?
Yeah, very, 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 very well. And we'll talk about that later when we look at the changing the aspect ratio of videos. We can talk about that later on. But yeah, it works very, very well.
Shall we go into multi-camera editing?
Let's do it. Multi-camera editing, Matteo. So shooting a scene using multiple cameras and therefore multiple angles. So start by organizing your footage, and then Filmora's multi-camera editing feature provides a very smooth editing experience. You can easily clip your footage and you can access multiple camera angles, switching between them in real time by clicking on the desired angle clip. Multi-camera editing turns, and you can pause now. So multi-camera editing turns what can be quite a complex and I think advanced editing process into a relatively easy one, just with some practice.
Nice. Just thinking of the time I've edited multi-camera settings. Oh, damn. And now it'll all feel so easy. Okay, let's dive into the next one.
Okay, yeah, so before we go into the next one, obviously AI sound effect, we're going to listen to some different sound effects in this clip with rain. So you'll see in this clip that to generate a sound effect, you can type in a keyword. In this clip, you'll see the keyword rain, and Filmora gives you 3 different options that you can choose from. So Matteo, go ahead and hit play on this one. So again, such a useful feature, and I use sound effects in most of my videos. Go to the audio tab, click rain.
Yes.
There we go. And then choose the one you want and just drag and drop, and then you're done. And you can pause there, Matteo. So yeah, again, sound effects made very, very easy with Filmora. As content creators, we can sometimes obsess, I think, over sound effects. I love the quick and easy nature of the AI sound effect, and I love how it gives you different options as well to choose from. And Filmora is so intuitive. You've seen this drag and drop style that it uses. It's so easy to use and pick up. So again, if you're new to Filmora and you're going to use it for this 7-day free trial, I would guarantee that within a day you'll be used to using it, and you'll feel like you've been using it for years because it's so intuitive to pick up.
There are some related questions there, like how easy will it be to make different transitions?
Yeah, so the transitions are also very, very important in any video. As I talked about, the asset library is so huge. You've got so many different transitions to choose from. And again, it's just a drag and drop style. So you really will find transitions for every kind of style that you're looking for. I tend to have my favorites, but as well, it's good to experiment, and it will depend on your niche and the type of videos that you're making, how many cuts you put into your videos.
Okay, there are a lot of questions popping up. Let's go to the next one, and then I'll structure the questions again so that we can look back.
Yeah, cool. So before you play this one, Matteo, let me give a bit of an introduction to this one. So video translation, AI translation. So I think languages used to be a barrier, but now with AI and with Filmora's AI, it breaks down those language barriers in an awesome way. I'll show you a clip of someone speaking Spanish, and with Filmora's AI translation, it seamlessly translates into, well, here into English, but into pretty much any language that you want. And this is really interesting. So if your clip involves a face and lips moving, you can click on the lip sync option and you let it process, and then it lip syncs as well, the translation. So let's hit play, and I think it's pretty much self-explanatory when you watch.
Una de las herramientas que más uso cuando estoy editando son los keyframe fluidos.
So you then go in and you select AI translation, select your languages, source and target language, click on that lip sync option, let it process, takes a couple of seconds.
One of the tools I use the most when I'm editing, it's the keeper influence. Every time I'm going to make a change, rotation, position. Scaling factors applicable to images, text, or objects alike.
That kind of feels like future, right?
Future's here, isn't it? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy that you can do that. Amazing.
Okay, the last one, we had a question, didn't we, about changing the aspect ratio of a video. So let's hit play on this last one, Matteo. AI Auto Reframe. This keeps your subject perfectly centered with the Auto Reframe tool. So you just choose your preferred target aspect ratio, click Analyze, and you have to manually adjust the frame as needed to ensure the ideal fit for your subject. And then the AI Auto Reframe will transform your video. So for example, if I've got a long form video with it shot in landscape and I want to take the subject and I want to put it into a portrait aspect ratio, I use the AI Auto Reframe tool. It again greatly automizes my workflow, again saves me so much time, gives me those hours back that I would have been spending doing this to do other things, other productive things, of course, you would hope.
Nice. That honestly, that motivates me like right now to try it out. But actually everyone here, if you should be in New York, San Francisco, LA, or London for the 4 upcoming events that we are doing, we just unlocked a discounted ticket for everyone who actually published a video with Filmora. So get on there, publish a video, and if you already have done so, then just post a link into the ticket, and then you get a discount on the ticket, because yeah, just feels like everyone can do that easily.
That's great. That's fantastic news, isn't it? You're the bearer of very good news today, Matteo.
Nice. That was pretty impressive what you can do these days. And I mean, this is the newest version, right, of Filmora. They just launched it at the end of last year. So they are probably improving even more of our workflows, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, as I've talked about, it's a great companion to have, the AI toolkit. It really does automate so many elements of post-production work as a content creator. And yeah, as I said, it gives you time back to focus on generating new streams of income, generating new content, doing what you've got to do in your life, and not spending all your life creating content. So I'm a huge fan and supporter of it.
Nice. So let's dive into the other questions that were asked. Someone anonymous was asking, do you find any part of the job to be tedious or difficult? How do you come up with your ideas for lessons or English content? How could someone find ideas for their own content?
Yeah, so to be honest, because I live and breathe content creation, I come up with ideas everywhere and anywhere. I could be going for a walk, I could be cooking dinner. I just note them in my phone, and then I think about them deeply, plan them out, and I film a video on them. And because I'm an English language creator, the possibilities really are kind of endless. But I just try to repurpose ideas in an original and a motivating and an interesting way.
You're still teaching a few hours, right? So your kids in school will also inspire you there, right?
Absolutely. I still teach, not as much as I used to, but I still teach because it's so important that I still embody being an English language teacher. And I actually get loads of ideas for content from my students as well, from the source, if you like. So it's very, very important to me. Yeah.
Nick was asking a question more related to the data. How much insight do you have into your followers, demographics, etc.? Are you interested in this aspect of being a creator? Is it important to you?
Yeah, so to be honest, it's not so important to me. However, as a content creator, when you start to explore paid partnerships, so making a video for a partner, for a company, often companies are very interested in your demographics, because your demographics, of course, have to match and map the company's marketing strategy. So that's where demographics can be very, very useful and very, very important. And of course, all of the main platforms give you access as a creator to your demographics and to all of your analytics as well. But in terms of analytics, I look at them, but I'm not too obsessed with them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you have to have a healthy obsession,
Yes, so I
which is
guess.
not, yeah, too crazy. Is it possible to create interviews with AI so that I am either the interviewer or the one being interviewed? That's an interesting question by Brandon.
That's a great question, Brandon. I mean, I'm aware of some English language learning apps that have AI avatar teachers. So, and you can have a fully blown conversation with the AI avatar teacher. So I guess in theory it would be possible, if you had access to one of these AI avatar teachers and you had the permission of the brand and the app, it would be possible to film content with an AI. Yeah, that would be my answer on that, Brandon. Great question, by the way.
Kelly was asking about your management, about your structure. Are you managing everything on your own, or do you have a team that you outsource to? By everything, I mean YouTube editing, social media management, email newsletter, etc. If so, at what stage of success did you start outsourcing?
Yeah, great question, Kelly. So I'm still doing everything myself in-house, if you like. I'm still doing everything myself because I love the whole process. And with my strategy and the type of content that I create, I'm able to do that still. So yeah, my answer is yeah, I do everything myself still.
And you're still planning to continue working like that? Or do you see that at some point you have to involve more people than your son and your wife?
Who knows? As I've said, I would say that in 3 years' time, my content is going to be very different to my content now. For the moment, thinking about my content, I'm very passionate about it, and certainly my long form content for YouTube, for example, I'm quite protective over. I've got a vision for how I want it to look. So for now, using AI to automate lots of my editing, I'm still doing it myself and following my own vision, so to speak.
Cool. David was asking, what about doing faceless videos?
Faceless videos. I mean, I've done some videos where I haven't appeared, David. They haven't done particularly well. I think my particular community, English language learners, I think they probably quite like to see someone talking, a mouth moving on the screen. But I have experimented with this, David, and I think it's certainly possible with many other niches to create faceless videos. But yeah, for my niche, those kind of videos haven't been successful for me.
Marina is asking an interesting question that actually you probably have experience in. How do you think, Richard, are there different ideas behind different social media platforms like Instagram for inspiration, YouTube for expressions, etc.? I mean, you are pretty big on TikTok and Instagram and are still growing your YouTube, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sort of across everything, Facebook as well, growing my YouTube. I think in terms of the different platforms, each platform requires something a little bit different. I find that with TikTok, you've got to have an instant hook in your video, something really, really bright and catchy and sticky right at the beginning within the first 1 or 2 seconds. I found with Instagram, I've built more of a community feel with my videos, and I get a lot more interaction in the comments with my community on Instagram. And then with YouTube, again, YouTube Shorts and long form YouTube are obviously totally different as well. YouTube obviously now offers 3-minute shorts, which is something new and something different. So, the platforms are also constantly evolving, as I believe the algorithms are. Again, I go back to my experimental phase where you're experimenting with different platforms, different styles, and finding out what works for you and for your niche.
Yeah, that sounds like I hear it from other people as well. It's yeah. Every platform is different. In the end, you need to adapt a bit to it, but also you are a media production company yourself, and you have your style, and you have to find the best way there. Nicola was asking a longer question. 95% of YouTube channels never upload more than 7 videos. If you upload more than 50, you're in the top 1%, according to Devin Nash. I'm curious, how do you go about your phases? About your experimental videos, do you mix them in between the standard videos of the time, or do you stop doing experimental videos when you find a trend start working for you? From his knowledge, doing an experimental video every 4 to 6 videos seems to not affect the viewership of other videos, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, some very interesting points made there, Nicola. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I think you say, do you stop doing experimental videos when you find a trend start working for you? I think in my experience, when I found a style that's worked, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, I've sort of jumped on it and tried to exploit it for as long as possible. But with every trend and every sort of popular style, they soon fall out of popularity. So you need to be constantly experimenting, and that experimental phase is so important. You mustn't get stuck in a rut, as we say in English, get stuck in a particular style. Keep trying to mix things up. And what I'd also say is, you make a really good point, Nicola, about 95% of YouTube channels not uploading more than 7 videos. Being a content creator is tough. It's difficult. But don't give up. If you don't give up, you will succeed. You've just got to keep going and not give up. It's as simple as that. And I'm proof that works, because I haven't given up and I'm still going strong. Yeah. So, Nicola, some great points there.
Next question is from Manzi, a podcast running a channel called The Human Collab. It's about people and their stories. I have 2 questions. What are the audio capabilities of Filmora, and can Filmora better pixelate videos?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the second question, Mansi. Maybe you could formulate that a bit. But yeah, the audio capabilities of Filmora are excellent. And as I said, for my podcast, I particularly like the smart short clips, where I can take my long form video of my podcast and I can clip it up into short 0 to 30 second highlight reels that I can then repurpose across TikTok, Instagram, to generate interest in my podcast.
If you have a bit of a better formulated question for the second question, just put it in the chat, Mansi, please. Now we get to the questions that were asked while we were showing the Filmora video. Moni was asking license-free music, and this was at the time when we showed the music generation. It is license-free, right?
Yeah, and I think looking through the next bunch of questions, Matteo, I think they might be questions that we can put to one side so they can be addressed by Filmora, these very, very specific questions. And I wouldn't want to misinform regarding Persian language and regarding creative assets.
That's a good idea. We will forward that to the Filmora team, and in the follow-up email that we send afterwards, we will put all the information in there that we get a hold of. Okay? I think that's a good idea. The next question is the 4K question is, do you film in 4K, actually, Richard?
I do. I try to use the equipment that I've got to the best of its ability. And for me, I'm a purist. I'm all about the quality of the video. What I would also say, Richard, is lighting. So lighting is something that I came to a little bit late in my journey as a content creator, how important your lighting is as a creator. So I would say, of course, your camera, your lens, very, very important, but your lighting is equally as important. And of course, you can watch so many tutorials on YouTube about the importance of lighting. Yeah, so I would encourage you to do that. I love the next question as well, Matteo, about monetization.
I was waiting for that, actually.
Yeah. So I've got a good answer for this one. So what I would say, if you're looking to monetize and you're approaching different companies to try to monetize, be persistent, keep emailing them. Don't just fire one email, not get a response and give up. You never know when you email someone if they've read it or not. Depends on the time of day. Has it gone into their spam? Have they read it and forgotten about it? So you must be persistent and you must keep on, whether it means sending 10 emails or 20 emails, keep going and keep being persistent with brands. And eventually you hopefully will get a response. Also be strategic in the brands that you approach. So, make sure do some research and make sure you're approaching the right brands as well. And look at what other creators are doing as well in your niche. And so do some research as well.
Yeah, I want to add to the last thing you said. Approaching the right company with your right audience is critical, because if you are actually just writing the same message to like all companies that you find, then this is spam. If you actually write this exact message to the exact company that would benefit from your audience, from your channel, from your whatever you're doing, then this is a conversation. So that's the difference. So make sure to reach only out to the people that actually make sense. Yeah. Richard was asking income-wise, how do the different platforms differ? And this is now less related to finding sponsors and partners, but to the monetization of the platforms themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the different platforms have different streams of income, different monetization strategies. I think, Richard, it all boils down to how popular and how much engagement your videos get. And it's kind of a simple answer that the longer people watch your videos for, and the more people watch them, the more money and the more income you can generate from your videos. And as I've said, don't be deterred by having a really, really successful video and then maybe having a bit of a dip. Content creation is all about riding those ups and downs.
I see that Manzi actually reformulated his question, but that seems to me like a question we should forward to the Filmora team as well, which I'm so super happy about, that they actually allowed us to create this event for everyone. So thanks to Filmora to support this. Yeah, and we should come to an end actually, because that's the time that we plan for this. So what can we expect next from you as a last question from my side? Is there anything that we can be excited about, looking forward to?
Well, yeah, so much. I've just got back from filming in Korea. I've made quite an interesting, informative, educational video in Korea about English language learning, finding out how Koreans learn English and finding out how they use AI to learn English as well. So I'll be dropping that video very, very soon. Yeah, but thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you to Filmora for giving me the opportunity. It's been great meeting you, Matteo, and being introduced to Social Rising. And I've really, really enjoyed our chat. I feel like, again, we could chat for another hour quite happily, right?
We will certainly do that when we meet in London at our next event there on the 21st. Everyone, you are invited to join our in-person events all around the world. We are also hosting virtual events regularly. There will be another one without a speaker, but with everyone coming together and talking about their challenges in social media later this month. So there's a lot happening. If you want to stay informed about Social Rising, then go to socialrising.com/join. That's where you can join our newsletter and you will get informed about all our events. And thanks everyone for being here, asking those interesting questions. I did expect exactly that from our audience.
So I wanted to say a massive thank you to our audience today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, to listen to us, and thank you so much for all your interesting questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard, and have a great day, everyone.